Welcome everyone to a special holiday edition of Drunk Agile. With us as always is Pratik Singh, sans his Santa hat. But more importantly, with her
Uh,
Christmas, does she have her Christmas socks on? Oh no, she
she has
doesn't.
her socks on. You can barely see them because they're brown.
Ah, yeah,
She's got both black and brown socks now, so you can barely see the brown socks on her.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
Santa brought Nisha some little booties for her to wear.
yeah.
So she's styling in those. Nisha, thank you for joining us. My name is Danny Vacanti. Pratik, what are you drinking this holiday season?
Almost exactly a year ago, we bottled the Glengarry. We were at it was snow in Scotland. Who knew that could happen in December?
Yeah.
And we bottled it December 10th, so it's almost exactly a year ago. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that was an interesting day. If anybody ever wants to hear that story, let us know. We can tell it. We love to tell it. But
yeah,
that was the day started. The day ended completely different than the way we thought it would.
hopefully, yeah,
Right? Anyway,
yeah.
that never happens in the real world, right? That never happens. Oh, I'm still working on my Blair Ethel. I've got a bunch of bourbons going, but I just can't bring myself to drink bourbon straight. I just can't do it, and it seems wrong. I'm sure I've done it. But it seems wrong to drink an old fashioned on this. So anyway, cheers, everybody. Happy holidays.
Yes.
Um, Pratik. Oh, so for this. Oh, cheers. Sorry, didn't drink. For this special holiday edition, we were thinking we would do the Drunk Agile Year in review, and
Yeah.
specifically count down. You see Pratik go into the water there.
It
Count
needs a couple of
down
drops.
our top 3 most watched videos of 2023. And just do a quick review. And honestly, we're doing this review because we'd love to hear from you. I mean, why did these topics resonate with you? Do you have any follow-up questions? What other material can we add on to this going into 2024 to make 2024 as successful as 2023? So, starting us off at number 3, Pratik, what do we have?
Yeah, our number 3 episode for this year, so this is episodes released this year, watched this year, was episode 67, which was whip limits and team capacity.
Mm.
That,
Oh,
yeah.
and we probably should say, in the interest of full disclosure, we did not count any videos that were released in the last week or two, right? Because we
Yeah,
just
we
had
left
to.
the last couple off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so whip limits and team capacity. Pratik, I know. Do you want to do a quick review and
Yeah.
why do you think in
So
25 words or less, because you're the best at this, 25 words or less, what was it and why does it resonate?
one of the reasons, one of the side effects of doing this podcast while drinking whiskey is you don't remember what you talked about in an episode. So, frankly, I don't remember a lot about the episode, but I do remember it originated from a question we had gotten about uh, how do I set in Kanban? How do I set team capacity? If I'm not looking at things like story points and velocity, which well, we know is not part of Scrum either, but most Scrum teams do that. How do I figure out team capacity?
How do you figure out whip limits based on team capacity?
Was that what it was, or it was just team capacity? And we were like, well, your whip limits are your team capacity.
I don't know. I don't watch the video, right? And I'm with you. I don't remember this stuff. I can't believe anybody out there really takes this seriously.
Yeah. So the way I remember it, the question was, what is my team's capacity? And we we would kind of, if someone answers the question today, let's say that, we would probably answer it in 2 different ways. One is if you're talking about your capacity to do work over a period of time, would probably ask you to do something like a Monte Carlo simulation and figure out based on our past data, what does it look like? How many things can we get done in the next month, next 2 months, whatever that is. But if you're talking about more active management of capacity, more how many things can my team take on at any given point of time, well, that is determined by your overall whip, your whip control. That your the number of things that you believe your team should take on any point in time, that is your whip. That should be your whip limit, whip control, whatever you call it. So that's how
Yeah.
I remember it.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna do my take on this, and then somebody else go watch the video and let us know who's closer to being right. It's probably Pratik, which usually is. He's weird about this stuff. I thought we were talking a little bit more about um should work in progress limits be based on the number of people in the team? And I think we started off by saying maybe initially when you're just getting started with the Kanban, you might want to set a rough work in progress limit based on number of people, but quickly your team's capacity, i.e. your WIP limits, by the way, those are the same thing. A work in progress limit, team's capacity, same thing. Your team's capacity and your corresponding work in progress limit will, I don't want to say quickly, and I don't want to say totally, but will diverge. Almost certainly will diverge. The number of people on the team and the work in progress limit that you've got. Now that might seem strange to some people because you probably saying, well, everybody's got to have something. Everybody's got to be working on something. Maybe yes, maybe no. It's okay for people not to be working on something. It's okay for multiple people to be working on something. It's okay for neither of those things to be true. So, I mean, really, it's about optimizing that flow. And so, whatever we need to do to be able to protect flow, that's how we'll adjust those work in progress limits. And usually, I think, like I said, most teams we work with, when they really get to that optimal flow, the WIP limits that they have almost nothing to do with the number of people on the team. That's what I
And
remember, and that's what I would have said if something like that was posed today. So
yeah, this is going to become one of those things of, hey, yeah, we're doing a review, but can you all review and tell us if we're
yes,
doing the review right?
yeah, yeah. Our viewership is just going to fall off a cliff after this episode. Okay, number two. But by the way, remember, if if you have any questions, let us know. We always have opinions, whether we know what we're talking about or not. Pratik, number two.
The second most watched episode for this year was the episode 75, actually, which was team size, which is interesting because that got released later in the year and still made the top three. So um, definitely that ruffled some feathers or got people really interested. It was all about team size.
Yeah, I think both of us remember exactly what this one is about.
Yeah.
This is that whole notion of certain a certain agile framework in particular, and many agile frameworks in general, talk about either optimal team sizing being 10 people or less, or the stupid little two pizza rule or whatever. Is it two pizzas? Is that what it is? I can't remember.
It's two pizzas.
Yeah, I
But
don't know.
they don't tell you the size of the pizza. Like if you make two really large pizzas.
I would say most developers I've met can eat like a whole pizza on their own. So what is that, like just
Yeah.
a two-person team? So yeah, and I think we did a pretty sound job of debunking both of those things. The
Yeah.
10 people or the two pizza. I don't know. Do you maybe you want to call it some highlights?
Well, what's been interesting for me, and I think especially in the second half of the year, we've gone. I won't say we've gone on the offensive, but we've really been calling out a lot of these traditional dogmas, and we're like, this is getting in your way. It's not helping you. It's getting in your way. And of all the dogmas we've called out, this is the one that for some reason gets people super excited. It just go, no, but it cannot work. It just that I think a lot of folks have never been able to experiment with large teams, so they never have seen it work. So I think that's why it sticks around because we do small teams because everyone does small teams. That's been one of those things. And again, for just I think we said this right at the end of that episode that we're not necessarily saying that larger teams are better than smaller teams. Uh, we're saying it, but what we're really saying is the way you structure your team, the way you size your team should not be by prescription. It should be more by what makes workflow to customers as efficiently, effectively as possible. That's what should determine how big your team is, not something that's written in some guide or some framework description or something like that.
Yeah, I mean this is actually an interesting follow-on from the previous one that we just talked about, because
Yes.
the secret sauce with team size, with large team size, is controlling WIP. By the way, for those people back there in the cheap seats, I think every time we say control WIP, right? Take a drink. All of this stuff comes back to to controlling WIP, and the small team size comes from that misguided, misplaced belief that, we have, again, we have to plan to keep everybody busy. And if you had a 60-person team, planning to keep everybody busy, that's a really, really tough thing to do. Or you see, I think we talked about those stupid
Yeah,
diagrams
yeah,
where,
yeah.
like, you have all the lines in between people and the number of communication paths, grow exponentially. That's just ridiculous, because that's not realistic either. Again, if you are controlling work in progress. So, um,
We need to put out our own diagrams, which has the work item in the middle and the people
yeah,
talking about the work
yeah,
item.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good
yeah,
one. Maybe we should maybe do that sometime.
yeah.
Although we won't
Let's.
remember that by the end of this episode.
I know.
Okay.
Good thing this is recorded. Good thing this is
Good
recorded. We
thing.
can watch it again, right?
Good thing. All right. I'm not going to sugarcoat this one, everybody. The the number one most watched video this year. Uh, I You're the customers, and what you say is valuable to us. We like your feedback, and we want to. But I got to say, if I had to pick one Drunk Agile video to watch, this is probably not the one that I would have watched. But Pratik, what was it? Drum roll, please.
Yeah, it was episode 61, flow metrics for Scrum teams. Um, yeah, it's interesting because just to frame this conversation a little bit, um, it wasn't actually the highest watched video, the most watched video of the year. It was the most watched video that we released this year. The most watched video of this year was actually episode 3, all the way back, which was for probabilistic forecasting using Monte Carlo. So our audience is, in my opinion, I think they're in the right track there.
Well,
But
you know, information that I could have had, before I made an idiot of myself. Oh, by the
no,
way, man.
but I think that I'm glad that video has become so popular 2 years after it was released.
Yeah.
But of the ones we released this year, the number one video is Flow Metrics for Scrum Teams, which is up episode 61. Um, uh, I'm not speechless, but it's not one of my favorite ones. Primarily because a lot of the work we've done later in the year has kind of gotten us to some of the things that we've talked about, and this probably hopefully shows you the growth that we learn. Some of the things we've talked about don't really jive as well with some of these things that we were talking about earlier in the year.
Right. And I want to be clear. I know a lot of you are in environments where Scrum is dictated to you, and so if you're looking for a way to make Scrum palatable, hey, I get it. I get that, and I don't mean to make light of that situation. In fact, I very much sympathize and empathize with you if you're in that situation. But my sincere hope would be that if you're watching that video and you're looking for flow metrics, if you're looking for flow metrics for Scrum team, the very first thought that you should have coming out of that is, why would we ever do Scrum, right? I mean, why? It's actually, as Pratik said before, it's probably holding us back. You know, maybe it was good to get us going. Maybe it was a way for us to dip our toes into agility. But if you really want to flex your agile muscles, yeah, you have to drop batches. You have to drop prescribed rules. You have to drop the fixed lake time boxes. You have to drop those things. And I would hope the flow metrics would get you to start to questioning that. So if that was your motivation, if that was your inspiration for watching the video, then thank you very much for that. If it
Yeah, and
was, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and frankly, that video, even the flow metrics of some class that Pro Kanban has, the way I think about it is it's your gateway drug. It's your gateway drug to flow, which helps you get to the point that, as Dan was saying, where you can drop some of the other dogmas, some of the other prescriptions, and start focusing on flowing value to customers. So if it helps you get to that, absolutely, I think that's a great place to start.
So let's know. Would you like a video on how to transition off of away from Scrum? How to do something else? Because of course, Pratik and I have thoughts about that. And one of the places that we would start would be start looking at these flow metrics, and I'm sure they will tell you a lot those flow metrics will be reflective. Here's my theory, my hypothesis is your flow metrics will be reflective of the prescription of the process, not your ability to be agile in your context. That is my thought. But anybody wants to know more about that, go visit the voice of the process versus voice of the customer, conversation that we had. That was just a few weeks ago, right?
I think that was episode 80. I think that was like the last episode we did. Yeah.
All right. So Pratik, anything else for us to kind of sum up the year, to review what, how do we tie a bow on this thing?
I think I would characterize at least our progression through these episodes as, I think we started the year a lot with what are some general concepts, what are some general things people need to know about, some myth busting, um, some very specific flow and Kanban ideas as well. But later on in the year, I think we got into more of a mode of, here are the dogmas that are harming your process, and how do you get out of it. And that, I think that's been the evolution of the podcast through the year. My guess is we're probably going to continue doing some of this myth busting as we keep moving forward. So yeah, that I think for me that's been the theme. That's been the progression.
Sure. For me, I just want to say, because I don't know we say it enough. I think we do say it at the end of every episode, but I want to make sure that everybody knows how sincere we are. Drunk Agile doesn't exist without our viewers, without our audience. So we're very grateful for your time. We're very grateful for your support. We that's why we keep asking for your ideas in terms of what content to put out, because we want, for the most part, we want to talk about what you want to hear. I mean, so, certainly Pratik and I will show up with an axe to grind from time to time, but that we just have to get out there. But I just want to say for 2023, I mean, Drunk Agile's been more successful, I think, than either us ever thought or planned or expected. So, and that's all down to all of you. So, wherever you are in the world, however you choose to celebrate the holidays or to not celebrate, the holidays, I hope you're safe, hope you're happy, hope you're healthy. And we here at Drunk Agile, like I said, want to say thanks for 2023 and very much looking forward to making 2024 successful. Pratik, a final word?
No, that's I mean, you summed it up perfectly. We always look for your feedback and hope you're having great holidays. We will definitely see you in the next year. We might even see you before the next year, but I think we're going to see you in the next year. Who knows? We don't plan this stuff.
We don't. We're gonna go eat some pizza. So for Nisha, and again, Drunk Agile. There's no way Drunk Agile would ever exist without Nisha. Thank you, Nisha. Thank you.
Yeah.
She doesn't care.
Excited, so excited.
Yeah, just jumping out of her boots. So that's for Nisha. For Pratik, thanks again so much for watching. Thanks for a great 2023. See you in 2024. Enjoy the rest of the year, and we will see you in the next episode. Bye, everybody.